Hey, gang. If you're like me, you woke up this morning to the news that the enemies of managed democracy opened up a third front, this time being led by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Now, to start off with a bit of history, when Helldivers 2 was first sold, as far back as when you were able to actually pre-order the game, it had this little toasty on it that said that you needed a PlayStation Network account to play the game. At the time of the pre-ordering and everything, the stance for PlayStation was you didn't need the account to actually play. It was just there as an option. Myself and others, we were never prompted like hey, you have to log in, and we all just assumed it was related to crossplay because Sony really hates players playing with people outside of PlayStation. So whatever. Not a big deal as far as I was concerned. We had a pretty good run. We were able to kill some bugs. We brought back Malevolent Creek into the fold of Super Earth. Good times. And then on May 2nd, 2024, we got an update from the Steam page of Helldivers 2 that said within the next month, everyone will be required to link a PlayStation Network account if they wanted to continue playing the game. This was a surprise to everyone, including the developer, Arrowhead Studios. They got to spend the entirety of their Friday dealing with a very furious fan base, and they were given really no information as to how this would impact their users. But, I mean, this was actually pretty great for Sony's part, right? Like, if you're going to attack your developers and give them a lot of emotional stress, do it at the end of the week, so that they get to enjoy all of that stress off of company time and on their personal time. Now, we would hear from one of the GigaChad community managers by the name of Twinbeard, and he would point out that this was Sony's decision, and they hadn't been given some key details about it. What key details might you be asking? Well, the Sony PlayStation Network isn't a global service. Take a look at this map here. It shows the green bits where PSN is supported, and the gray, which are not. In total, PSN supported country count is only 69.
Nice.
Now, despite this, the Steam page, which is controlled by Sony, it was sold worldwide. They didn't restrict it to the countries where you aren't able to have a PlayStation Network account. And we would see in the case of at least one post on Twitter where a Chinese user would claim that he tried to make an account in China and link it to the PlayStation Network and would have his Helldiver 2 account banned. Now, not all community managers are very graceful in handling this. One of them, by the name of Spitz, reacted very poorly to Sony backstabbing the company. He would point out that this was not the first or 14th game to require a third-party account, and that it only takes like 120 seconds out of your day to enter the info, and like, why is this such a big deal? And yeah, you're right. It only takes about 120 seconds, and it's not a big deal. So why are you guys requiring it? He would go on. When someone would say that this was going to kill Helldivers 2 on Steam, his response would be, well, I thought you were refunding and leaving. Now, in general, if your player base is extremely pissed off at something that you or your publisher is doing, don't antagonize your user base. You're just going to wind up getting plastered all over Twitter and in YouTube videos. Now, for all this game's been running without issue for months, without people requiring their PSN credentials in the game. So really, this whole thing just kind of comes off as Sony wanting to boost their PlayStation Network numbers. I'm sure they see some kind of value that they could put in a quarterly report and say, hey, look, we were able to convert so many Helldivers users into PlayStation Network accounts. Yay. Now, we would see from a community and support representative that would claim that the only reason for this addition was so that it would be easier to ban people. They would, after tweeting this, lock their account. I believe that this is what this person was told. It's a really common thing in a lot of these tech companies in general for people that interface with the community members to be told, hey, if I just build this thing and give it to you, your life is going to be easier. And that's a way for people to get excited about things that they don't understand, because most people at these game companies don't understand a lot of the under the hood coding aspects of anything. They just use whatever tools are given to them. Now, I've spent a number of years as a site reliability engineer, and I've had to work with a lot of folks in setting up tools for them to handle community issues with various accounts or users. And if they needed some kind of documentation or whatever to help them ban people, I mean, I could have probably done that for them in a day in Python. If they wanted it done in something like Node.js, first, fuck you for making me use Node.js. Hate JavaScript. Second, that'd take like 2 days. Back and forth between the individual members of the team to figure out what they actually needed to make their jobs easier. 1 whole week, they could press a button, ban whoever they needed to ban, send out emails or generate documents, whatever they needed to do. It's a non-issue. I don't think that this is just because of banning people thing actually is the reason. It really just comes off like Sony being a bunch of douchebags. Now, as the day would go on, you'd have a bunch of people pointing out like, oh, hey, you knew this the whole time. The language was always there in this little square on the store page, so you should have known. And everyone would rightfully point out that the website and PlayStation said that no, PlayStation Network accounts were not a requirement for their PC games. Sony would also realize this, realize they fucked up, and would change their website same day to say that some games now require a PlayStation Network account to play them. Now, as of making this video, Sony hasn't said what they're going to do to the users that bought the game in regions that are not supported in the PlayStation Network. A lot of people are just assuming that they'll just permit them to turn it off and not have those requirements for those regions. But if they're going to allow those regions to basically be opted out, then why won't they let people in regions that are in the PS Network also opt out? Like, we just want to bring managed democracy to the universe. If that means that me and my PC friends can help liberate that side of the world while the Sony folks liberate that side, that's a win-win for everyone, right? However, this is Sony we're talking about. I would not be surprised if they decide to double down and just tell these regions, hey, you're not part of our target audience, not our target market, go eat shit. And with every big corporate fuck up, there has been no shortage of bootlickers that have come out on social media to defend the multi-billion-dollar company. And for those folks, look, if you enjoy getting pegged by these big corporations, more power to you. Just go for it. We're proud of you, buddy. Now, at this point, as consumers, the biggest thing we can do to say we don't like this change is to leave a negative review on Steam. As of making this video, there have been over 80,000 negative reviews on the Steam page. Now, I've put in a few hours into Helldivers. I've done my part in writing my negative review because I hope that Sony will roll this back so that we can all get back to enjoying what is legitimately an excellent game. Now, if you agree or disagree with this change, by all means, go and leave your own review. You can show Sony your support or displeasure by doing that, and it'll all add up. It's your way to vote. Now, if you think with all this that Sony did no wrong, and Sony is right to ban all of these fellow Helldivers in these countries, and you live in the United States of America, I've got a store for you. So if you're located in the main 48 states, there is a store called Boot Barn. Boot Barn has a metric shit ton of boots. It is basically an all-you-can bootlick buffet. Have at it. Now, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I'll be here talking about games and stuff, so I hope I see you again in the future. And if you're a fellow Helldiver, just remember, Helldivers never die.